it's like Russ Holiday is a guy that just made a mistake, right? He's not a bad guy. Some of these other people that get canceled, they should lie where they're shot. But where
This guy, his face is toxic. Glenn Powell just dropped that bombshell on a podcast last week, and let me tell you, Hollywood's phones haven't stopped ringing since. One sentence, not a single name, and suddenly the internet's best sleuths are in a frenzy. They're all scrambling to figure out which recently cancelled A-lister just got completely read by the golden boy of the moment. Stick around, because the backstory here, it's way messier than you think, and the unwritten rules of red carpet exile, they're changing faster than a viral TikTok trend. So, let's rewind a bit. Powell was just casually chatting on Jake Shane's Therapist podcast when the host hit him with a classic question. Ever had a moment where you felt your career flash before your eyes? Without missing a beat, Glenn launched into a story about a VIP cocktail mixer last spring. He walks in, spots a very recognizable actor, the kind whose scandals had been dominating headlines for months, and immediately tries to pivot toward the bar. The only problem? The sole open stool is right next to that guy. Glenn sits down, they exchange some polite small talk, and he says within 30 seconds, the energy felt radioactive. That's when he landed on the now viral phrase. The host had a laugh, Powell shrugged it off, and they moved on. But that 8-second clip? It's racked up millions of views, because everyone wants to know who exactly earned the unofficial title of Mr. Toxic Face. Oh, the speculation is absolutely flying. Some forums are convinced it's Armie Hammer, saying the timeline fits perfectly. Others are pointing fingers at Kevin Spacey, even though Powell's never actually worked with him. Then there's a third camp throwing out the name of a comedian whose public downfall happened right before this mixer. Glenn's PR team, naturally, isn't clarifying a thing, and honestly, that's a genius move. In today's Hollywood, dropping names can trigger lawsuits, ignite fan armies, and send you straight into algorithmic hell. The far safer play is the blind item. Say just enough to keep everyone clicking, but zero enough to stay completely litigant-proof. It's the ultimate gossip omerta, a code of silence where everyone knows, but no one officially says. And Powell? He just followed that playbook to the letter. Let's zoom out for a second. When an A-list, in-demand star like Glenn Powell labels someone toxic, it's more than just throwing shade. It can feel like a career death certificate. Studios are constantly monitoring sentiment metrics before they even think about greenlighting projects. If your leading actors won't even share a room with you, forget a set. Insurance brokers start flagging you as a liability. Casting directors quietly slide your resume to the very bottom of the pile, and your Q score? It'll plummet faster than a bad box office opening. Powell's offhand comment isn't just chatter. It reinforces an informal blacklist. It's something no agent will ever put in writing, but every publicist in town understands it intimately. His discomfort, even if just a gut feeling, carries real economic weight. In other words, social exile in 2025 can literally be triggered by a single viral sentence. The ripple from this incident didn't stop with just the mystery star. Industry insiders tell me some managers are now actively advising their clients to skip high-profile parties altogether, unless they can personally control the seating charts. Imagine that. One major studio even reportedly hired a reputation bouncer whose entire job is to subtly steer talent away from awkward run-ins. Meanwhile, cancelled actors are busy counter-strategizing. They're opting for smaller, more private events, intimate dinners, and carefully curated Instagram lives from home, where they can completely control their optics. It's a high-stakes chess match, played out under the dim, flashing lights of a nightclub, and Powell just advanced a pawn straight down the throat of his unnamed peer. So, who do you think owns the infamous toxic face? Drop your prime suspect in the comments below. If you're into this kind of decoded Hollywood gossip, smash that subscribe button, and stick around, because the legal loopholes that keep these stories vague are wilder than you expect. The whole cancel culture debate usually swings between extremes, people can grow and change versus actions have consequences. But Powell's anecdote lands squarely in that messy gray middle. He didn't accuse anyone of a crime. He simply voiced his discomfort. Yet, that discomfort, as we've seen, carries immense economic weight. Is it truly fair that one actor's gut feeling can help ice another's livelihood? Well, that depends entirely on who you ask. Veteran PR pros will argue that reputation is currency, and devaluation is just part of the market. Ethicists, on the other hand, might counter that public shaming without due process echoes a kind of scarlet letter justice, especially when you consider how inconsistent cancellation can be. Hollywood, though, it just keeps doing what it always does: follow the money. So, what's next? Expect to see more NDAs at mixers, even more curated guest lists, and a whole lot more podcasts fishing for salacious soundbites. One casting director I spoke with, strictly off the record, told me every networking event now feels like walking through a minefield wearing tap shoes. That's a powerful image, isn't it? It means the stakes are incredibly high, the room is dark, and one wrong move echoes worldwide before last call. Glenn Powell's uncomfortable run-in is so much bigger than just cocktail party chatter. It's a vivid snapshot of an industry policing itself with whispers and side eyes. Whether that's progress or pure paranoia is still up for debate, but one thing's absolutely certain. In today's Hollywood, your reputation can be toasted or torched faster than you can order a drink.
So
next time you spot two stars awkwardly avoiding each other on a ballroom floor, just remember, there's almost certainly a backstory, and the internet is already 3 theories deep.